Welcome, everyone, to the Epic Love Lounge. This is something that we put together. It's a short little series that we put together. It's going to be about 6 weeks, but it's just a conversation place for we don't have anything fully planned out to talk about. There's some ideas we want to talk about, but we really want to create a space for the conversation. So we'll get it started here in a minute, but we always want to open it up to your experiences, your thoughts, and let's dive deep into these topics. So today we are excited to talk about the apparently controversial masculine and feminine dynamics. And so we're going to talk specifically mostly about masculinity today. And depending on how much time and what we get through, we may do femininity next week, but we'll just kind of let you guys dictate where and how far we go and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. And I'm also excited to be here with my favorite co-host, Mayan. She's amazing. And we have the best conversations. And sometimes I'm sad that most people don't get to see those because we just go on these talks. And so we have so many friends who, when they're with us, they're like, "Oh, that's so good. You should have recorded that." And it's like, well, that's just a Tuesday. Like, we're just talking, but we do have fun with those conversations. And so this is an opportunity for you guys to be involved in those conversations instead of just hearing me talk about them, which is not nearly as fun. So that being said,
Well, I love that we see familiar faces and there are also some new faces. So if we haven't met yet, Angus, Mayan, and we are a real life couple. We are love coaches who work together. We coach separately. And then we decided to join forces and create a business together because we have a shared mission to support other people in creating love, especially after heartbreak, divorce. You know, when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, finding love is a little bit different than when you're in your 20s or 30s. So that's
I hear in your 80s and 90s it actually gets easier. Like the nursing homes, those apparently that's easy to find love there.
Yeah.
So
So there's light at the
yeah,
end of the tunnel.
nothing else. Just there's an option.
Yikes.
Sorry, I just
Okay. So yes, that is our mission, is to support others to have an epic, what we call an epic 10 out of 10 relationship, one where you feel supported by your partner, you feel grounded, you feel safe, you feel all those beautiful things, and have a companion, have a partner, a true partner to live life with. So that is our mission. So we welcome you if we've never met before, or if you're watching on a replay. So today's topic kind of started because, well, yes, or I guess last week we talked about it as well.
Yep.
Maria had brought up a beautiful question about masculine and feminine, and that kind of kicked it off. And then I actually was at a networking event, and Angus was out of town in Sedona. So I was very proud of myself. I was like, I'm going to get myself out of the house and I'm going to meet some people. And so I went to this,
our little introvert left the house on her own.
growing
It's
up.
amazing.
So I went out and went to this networking event and met a bunch of really nice people. And there was this man there. He was tall. He was good looking. He was a business owner. He had his stuff together, and we were, talking about love. Of course, he was intrigued by the fact that I help people find love, and so we were just chatting about that. And as I was talking to him, getting to know him, he seemed like a really stand-up guy. And so I was just curious, like, how come you're still single, or are you single? And we started talking about that. And he
The way you presented it to me was like,
Yeah.
he's the type of guy that our clients are looking for.
True. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like the protective type, got, emotionally open, has his head on straight, like all these different things that a lot of times when we talk to women or our clients are like, where are these men? And we're like, they're out there. We know they are. And so, yes, that struck me as, okay, this is one of those types. He's one of the men that our clients would love to meet. And as I'm talking to him and I'm asking, why are you single, or what's your experience? He was like, I used to date women that I see here at these networking events. So, CEOs, business owners, women who are very driven, ambitious, and like all of that was great. And what my experience was that they would show up like they didn't need me in any capacity. Like they've got it all handled.
I think you told me, he said they would constantly remind me that they didn't need me.
Right. Yeah. They will let me know that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So like from a man's perspective, and this was I guess we'll just cut right to the controversial part of the debate that was happening on our Facebook post, is that a healthy man shouldn't need to be needed. Like he should just be in himself. And I don't disagree with that, because truly there are a lot of wounded men that haven't started the healing journey who are looking for the damsel in distress, who they gain their meaning and their value of life by saving somebody else. But from my perspective, the man and the masculine energy gains value and self-worth from doing. It doesn't mean that he has to do something for anybody else, but a man who just sits in his mom's basement typically is going to have mental health problems. Like he needs to get out and do something. And obviously I'm using that as a worst case scenario. Like, the 30-year-old who still hasn't left home, that's a problem. But the more that he does something, the more that he gets out, whether it's jujitsu or working out or just has a business, or he's just consistently showing up and doing something, he finds meaningful. He finds his life meaningful when he's putting his hands to something. And so that also relates to the energy that most women say that they want. They say they want somebody to provide and protect, right? Like if there's a noise
It's on
outside the house,
purpose, right? Like
right? There's a
pursue.
noise outside the house. I'm still waiting for the woman who's like, no, I got it. I'm going to go check it out. Most women are still like, hey, I'm boss babe. I'm superwoman, but like, honey, go check it out. Like there is still a desire to have that protective, providing energy that's coming in. And that's the masculine energy that is willing to do stuff for people that it cares about.
Mhm.
And I think that's where, if we just say it's all about being, we miss that there's still that energy that even women want a man to do that, to serve, to kind of lay his life down for them, not from an unhealthy place. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I feel like to your point of if we're just kind of like being and not doing anything, not pursuing anything, I mean, that's all human beings. And also, as a provider, as a somebody, we talked about this before where you mentioned the men are wired to serve, to protect. So it makes a lot of sense that, that's the motivation behind that.
One of the things that comes up for me is, as a man who grew up very comfortable in feminine energy. In fact, I would say that it's something that I've learned to move out of and more into a masculine energy. But being in that feminine energy, one of the things that I've seen that happens in not just our relationship, but previous relationships, when I'm in that more being energy, and it's just fun to just be hanging out and just connecting, and we could sit on the couch and we could talk. And at some point in almost every one of those interactions, the woman will be like, she'll begin to get restless. And it'll be like, we need to do something. Nothing's happening in our life. Like who's leading this? Nothing's getting done. And an anxiety will begin to build oftentimes, because she knows
Yeah,
if
I feel
the
like I
man's
used
not
to.
doing
Yep.
something, then she needs to do something. And that puts her in that masculine energy, which typically isn't the more enjoyable energy for her or for him. There are some men who actually really love that, who love the powerful woman where he can be in his feminine. But that's something that we get to be aware of with those energies. They move. Every one of us has masculine and feminine energies in us. We move to and from them. Some of us get stuck in one or the other. And so that's part of this conversation is what does it look like if you're a woman to be stuck in your masculine?
Yeah, I
But
think that's a really good point because for somebody like me who grew up being very high achieving, very goal oriented, I my that's how my mind works. It's like, oh, we got to get stuff done. We got to do this and that. And if you're not stepping up in any way, and I'll take our business as an example, there are things that I need to lead. There are things that I need to, you know,
your
be
strengths.
yeah, because I'm more experienced in it or I have more skills in it, and so I need to step up and lead. And then there are other areas where it's like neither of us want to do it. So need like social media. So neither of us are taking the lead. And then it does create anxiety in me because I'm like, well, if you're not leading,
You know
then
something
I'm
needs
going
to
to
be
have
done.
to lead, right? And then I need to step up. I need to do that. But I think part of the challenge for women who are so used to getting things done and being so capable is that we don't recognize when we can turn it off and how to turn it off, even so that we can allow our partner to step up and lead.
Yeah. So this guy, as he was talking, was, basically divulging that the women that he had pursued previously were the type of women who I like to call them Superman. Some people call them like boss babe, whatever, but like they have it all handled. They don't need a
Superwoman.
man. Did I say Superman?
You did.
I mean Superwoman. Excuse me.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. There we go. That's the one. Thank you. She's got a great brain. When mine lapses there, steps in. Yes. They have like that Wonder Woman kind of mentality of like, I don't need a man. I can handle it all on my own. I love that for you if you're that type of woman. And most people, most women that are in that will admit that at some point they reach a level of burnout and want somebody to like step in and help, even if they're not willing to show that on the outside because they have to keep the strong structure, outwardly facing. Typically, there is some desire to have somebody come along and be a partner, somebody to come along and be a support, somebody to come along and be a helper. And so when she's putting up that wall, that guard, that man who would love to be a meaningful part of her life feels like there's no place for him to fill. There's no, like, he could just be, but he doesn't get any value from that. And she usually ends up resenting him. So why would he stick around?
Yeah. Does that make sense? Is that resonating? Is it maybe in the chat? You can let us know. Head shakes, any questions? One of the things that you were asking me to think through was I had worked with a coach specifically on polarity. And, one of the things that he taught me was, when you're on dating apps, when you're getting asked out on dates, you're going to experience kind of a spectrum of men who some are going to be very on it and they're going to be like, hey, I want to take you out Tuesday, 7 p.m., this or this place, are you available? Let me know type of thing. And then there's the other end where it's like, oh my gosh, it'd be so great to meet up for coffee sometime. I'm like, yeah, it would be. And it's like, yeah, sometime would be great. Yeah, somewhere, sometime. I think you're in this conversation loop where it never gets anywhere.
Yeah.
And rather than, me pushing, being like, okay, how about, and me making the plans and asking, my coach was telling me and teaching me, like, step back and see who steps up. You're giving him the opportunity to step up rather than going right in and filling the void, right, with your leadership. Rather than that,
Let's,
just allow him to.
yeah, let's pause there for a minute because one of the things that I like to say, and I don't hear very many people talking about this, but most people say that the masculine energy is the leading energy and the female energy, feminine energy is the following energy. And I don't agree with that. What I do mean by that is that the feminine energy leads in a different way. The feminine energy is the inspirational energy. The feminine energy doesn't set the vision, but she sets the emotion. She communicates in a way that says, this is what I like or what I don't like. This is what I want or what I don't want. This is what feels good or what doesn't feel good. And so even if you're in that scenario, like where
Yeah.
you're doing the online dating stuff and you've got this feminine energy potentially, and I say potentially because sometimes we've trained a lot of men to be sensitive and to wait for you to tell us what you like so that we can react and respond and give you what you like.
Be polite.
Be polite. Yep.
respectful.
Yep. So we've trained a lot of men to do that. It doesn't mean that they can't step into their masculine. It's just that they are trying to honor what they've been told for 15, 20, 30 years was the right way to do it. And so they don't know that they should step into that leadership. But your opportunity is to say, I would love that. I can't wait for you to ask me out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm super excited for you to ask me out. That's not you leading, but it's you inspiring him to step up.
Right. So the distinction is I'm not going, hey, how about Friday? I'm free Friday, or I'm free Friday and Saturday. Which one works for you? Right. That's me giving him options for him to react to,
Yes.
respond to.
Yeah.
That's me in the masculine energy.
Yeah.
versus what you're saying is I'm sharing my likes, I'm sharing my desires, and then now you get to respond to
Yeah.
that.
I just got off a call with one of our clients who she's okay. So I won't say her name for privacy reasons, but she's been with us for almost 6 months now
Well, over.
and is in a relationship she never thought she would be in. She was single for almost 10 years. And
But yeah.
yeah, and now is in this amazing relationship. And so she was sharing that they're making plans for next year already, like all the way to 2026. And they had a conversation about cruises. And he didn't think that there were any cruises less than 15 days. She's like, oh no, there's definitely cruises less than 15 days. I got this. And so she sent him some cruises. And he's like, oh, I'm definitely wrong. You are right. Looks like you've been doing your homework. And then he said to her, tell me which one of these you would like to go on. So then she went and opened up her computer, got
Mm.
all these pages. She's trying to get it all figured out, opened a spreadsheet. She's very much like man, very much
Very
analyzer, like,
analytical.
yeah, super analytical. She's like, okay, we could go to here and here, but this one has this cost and this one's this many days. And she like builds out this whole spreadsheet. And then she talks to him the next day and he's like, hey, why are you doing all of that? Just tell me where you want to go and what you want to experience. I'll plan the rest. And she's like, wait, what? Like she thought that she had to do all of the planning because he had asked her what she wanted to do. And maybe she didn't know what she wanted to do, and that's okay. And maybe she needs to go through the whole process of creating a spreadsheet to figure out what she wants to do.
Mhm.
But he wanted to know what would feel good to her, what she liked and what she didn't like, what she wanted, what she didn't want. And then it's his job to solve for that. And he literally told her, he's like, I'm not going to take you on some ratty cruise. Like I've done these kind of things before. I've been to most of these places and I'm happy to go again with you. I just need to know where you'd like to go first.
Love it.
And so we had a conversation about like, what does that feel like to go from feeling like you have to plan all the details to just trusting and resting that somebody's got it taken care of. And it's a beautiful thing when you get to experience that. And I know that's something that like, I love the story that you tell about the trailer.
Mhm.
If you want to share that, like, cause I feel like that's one of the most powerful, instantaneous, like shift from masculine to feminine, feel good energy.
Sure. Yeah, and if you've heard this before,
Yeah.
you know the story. So, the story is I had all my stuff in a storage unit in San Diego, and I was moving to Arizona. And so we were driving from where I was living at the time, Utah, and driving from Utah to San Diego to pick up all my stuff so that we can go to Arizona where I was moving because we had started dating. And so we were driving and it's what, like a 5-hour drive or maybe
Close
a
to
little
six,
bit
yeah.
longer. Yeah. And as we're getting closer, I'm like doing some mental gymnastics in my mind of, oh my gosh, how big is my storage unit? How big is this trailer that Angus has that we're pulling so that I can put all my stuff in? Like trying to calculate if I can fit all the stuff in my storage unit into this trailer. And then I start freaking out because like, I don't, what if it doesn't fit? What are we going to do then? Am I going to have to sell things? Am I, we had a limited amount of time there. And so what do I need to do? And you noticed that I was having
All this was
like,
happening in her head.
yeah, I was, but there was this energy shift, right? And you noticed it and you looked over, you put your hand,
No, I said
you
like, what's
said, what,
going on?
yeah, what,
Yeah, and then she vomited all these thoughts out, all like, I just, yeah, your trailer is, how big is your trailer? And my storage unit is, and I'm like, holy cow, like what's, I like, I knew that there was an anxiety, a tension in the air, in the car, in the truck, but I didn't know that all of this was like bouncing around.
yeah,
And I just reached over and I think I grabbed your hand or put my hand on your leg. And I think I just said, hey, I've got this.
yeah. And then in the moment, I was like, thank God. Like, I didn't have to figure it out all on my own, right? I wasn't gonna just let you, like, do all the work, but it was, "Oh my gosh, I don't have to figure this out on my own." And that felt like such a relief, like, just a lot of weight taken off of me because I think a lot of things I've been carrying on my own and a lot of adult things. So,
Yeah.
to have this specific thing, to hear that you've got it, you can take care of it, like, whatever happens, you can figure it out. That was just a huge, huge relief
And
for me.
I think I love that story because a couple of things. One, as soon as you shifted back into the feminine, you started feeling good.
Mhm.
As soon as I took that responsibility from you and shifted into the masculine, I actually started feeling good too. And so that even though we're moving, and moving is not anybody's favorite thing to do, like we both felt good. And I'm happy as the man to do that and make her feel good. If I can make her feel good, then I feel good. And so we want as men to make our women feel good. That doesn't mean that we should get our worth from it. It doesn't mean that everything is tied to her, because especially I've been in relationships that were codependent. You can speak to that now. Like I don't go codependent anymore. Like
Mm.
you can have your mood and I'm like, hey, this is you. I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go hang out with the guys until you can like manage that emotion. In the past, I wasn't healthy and I would try to manage and like make my life bend to where you try to feel good all the time. That's not healthy either. And yet at the same time, like when a man is healthy and he can serve and he can provide value and do for you, that's something that actually gives you energy. Like at the end of moving and packing all that up, I'm not like exhausted, like, oh, I'm like that. It feels rewarding.
And I think
Very different.
that's a shift, mindset shift for me, because growing up, it's like being asked to do all these different things and, doing things you don't want to do. And like I probably seen my dad do things he didn't want to do and giving an attitude about it. Right. And so in my mind, I wasn't taught that men enjoy serving and doing things for other people. And so that's been a shift for me to like, oh, really? Okay. Not that I'm gonna take advantage of it, but I'm just saying, like, if that makes you feel good, I'll give you opportunities to feel good.
The number one thing to like, I never got to meet your dad,
Mhm.
but the number one thing that I see when a man doesn't want to do that kind of stuff, doesn't want to serve, it's typically because
I
there
appreciate it.
was an expectation that he needed to, or he had to, or he should. And there was zero appreciation for the effort that he may have given,
Yeah.
or there was even criticism because he didn't do it well enough for
Or
whoever.
exactly the way that it was
Exactly.
expected to,
And
yeah.
nothing will make a man shut down faster, or it's called learned helplessness, where he's like, I can't do anything right. So I'm just not going to do anything at all. Every time I try something, every time I open my mouth, it just goes wrong. So I'm just not going to say anything. Men will shut down when that is happening. And so,
Yeah.
anyways, we just spouted a lot of stories at you guys, and we appreciate you being with us for those stories. But let's open it up. What questions do you guys have? What did you hear that's sparking a thought? If you don't agree with us on any point, we're open to that as well. This is a true conversation. So let's open it up. Who's got thoughts they want to share?
Dale, go for it.
Um, well, I'm just assuming everybody's here is really just soaking this all up. Yeah. But I'll only speak for myself. I'm soaking this up, and it's so nice to, you know, just to get a license to do that. And I recently, I'm online dating, and in my responses, he said, well, he kept saying we should talk. And I was like, well, I would just welcome an invitation from you. That would be so awesome. I said it like 3 different times. It turned out, I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, but I've had 3 catfishes in a row.
Oh,
So it just turned out, but due diligence, he's just a dude until he proves otherwise. Right. So
exactly.
just next. But the important part is I got to practice, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. Even though he wasn't responding, I just kept repeating myself like that would be like I didn't. He kept saying, "Well, I think we really should talk," because we both have Cancer Moon. And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I just would love an invitation from you."
Yeah.
And you know what? Even though I didn't get anything from him, it felt so good to do that and not get into the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm available this, then, da, 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 da. So I am learning, and I'm excited about what I'm learning. And it's always nice to have these little sessions. I wrote down a lot of notes from your stories and things to uh, verbatim what to say. I would
Right.
love that. I'd be so excited. This is what I want. This is how I feel.
Yeah.
Trying to remember those when you're in your male brain.
Mhm.
When you're in your male energy, I'm literally gonna make, uh, what do you call them? Cheat cards,
Little flashcards.
flashcards, yeah. I'm gonna make myself some flashcards with all of those things on them, because when I'm in my male, I've been single for 10 years. I'm used to
Yeah.
doing my own, I'm like, I got my own toolbox. I got, I'm the only one that fixes anything around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I welcome when I've gone on dates, I have thanked my dates profusely for driving because I'm so tired of driving myself.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but anyway, the point being that I would love to be in my feminine energy. It's just making that switch,
Yeah.
the brain, and having some script helps me to get into that brain. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing. There's a couple things that Dale shared there that really jump out at me. The first one is like, if you do have the script, great. Like you have something that you can go back to. But one of the things that we both know is that it's usually when you need it the most, you don't have it, right? Like you've been kind of ingrained in this process for years. And so now what we've just talked about and what we've given you is like head knowledge. And like, oh, that makes so much sense. Are you going to remember it when you need it? Like, I don't know. Most of the time, this information has to go from the head. And like on this call, you're writing it down, but when you need it, you'll retain like roughly 10% of it, unless you have some sort of practice where you get to embody it and you get to move into it on a regular basis.
Yeah,
And
flashcards. No,
yeah,
kidding.
and as long as you're carrying the flashcards and have them, ready to go at every
I'm gonna
conversation.
tuck
Have
them
them
in my bra.
tattooed.
I'm just gonna tuck them in my bra, and guess they're gonna be with me at all time.
Well, you'll definitely get more
Whip them
male
out.
attention, just like
I'm gonna
start
whip them
start
out,
pushing around.
and they're gonna be wondering what I'm fishing
Yeah,
for.
there you go. Yeah.
Well, get their attention that way, and I'm gonna whip these flashcards out. No, I get what you're
The
saying.
twofer.
I
Yeah.
just have to be
Yeah.
silly.
One of the other things that jumped out to me, though, what you shared there, Dale, is you, by not shifting into your masculine, like you stayed feeling good and you didn't really invest anything so that when you found out it was a catfish,
Yeah,
you didn't invest anything. If you had
absolutely.
tried to arrange and get him on the call and I talked about it this day and that day, and now you've put in a whole bunch of effort
Right.
and it falls and it's like, oh, like you invested something. When you stay in your feminine is reciprocation. When
Yeah.
he does something, you give something good back. Like when he makes you feel good, you make him feel good back. That kind of thing is a pattern, is part of the dance that we talk about. So I love that you did that. And I love that you referenced one of our programs. You talked about dude diligence and he's just a dude until he becomes your man. But also some dudes are not dudes, they're duds. Like when it's a fake, when he's a true bum, he's not even a dude. Like he's a scammer, that you're going to run into some of those duds. So keep your head up.
I love that. I love that.
Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I
It's
agree.
a dud. A
I love
dud.
the dud
I
distinction.
love the
Yeah.
dud. Yeah, I love that. I
Man,
got that.
dude, and dud.
Yeah.
Dude and dud. Okay, well, we got
All right. What's the
really
next
bad.
question? We got a couple questions in the chat. We'll take one from the chat and then we'll go to Ronit. I saw her hand go up, but looks like there's a bunch in the chat.
Oh, actually, you know what?
No?
That's so funny. It saved questions from last time
Oh, interesting.
because we have recurring meaning.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
I didn't know it did that.
I know. Learn something new.
Wow.
Sorry.
We are learning here, people. This is a learning environment and we are learning on the set too.
But
So
I just on that, just something's come up for me. Um, when you have these things, I just feel like I'm in conversation with you in your living room. It's so lovely.
I'm glad you feel that way. And
Vibes
thank you
of
for
the
sharing it.
lounge.
Yeah, that's the
Exactly. I just
intention.
feel like I'm in a conversation in your living room. So
Perfect.
just
Love it.
wanted
We
to-
we would love to welcome you into our home, whether it's virtually or in person. But yes, we love our conversations and we love having you guys as part of them. So thanks for sharing that, Dale.
Thanks,
That
Dan.
means a lot to us. Ronit, you got a question or a thought?
Yeah. Well, in terms of inspiring the masculine, I went out twice now with a man who he's widowed, 10 years now. And I could see that his heart is still very fearful because his mother also died of cancer and then his wife died of cancer.
Oh,
And so I like him and I could tell that he really likes me. But between our first date and our second date, there was a lot of procrastination till he got together and got his act together. And now I feel like he's going to do the same thing. It's going to be like in slow motion. until he gets the third date rolling for next weekend. And I think I'm just gonna do nothing and let him figure it out.
That's definitely an option. Um, let's brainstorm for a minute though. Like what we were just talking about, Mayan online dating. Like, what are some ways that you could step into your feminine leadership and inspire some different action? Like, what? Let's just play. You don't have to do any of this, but just playfully, let's think and maybe everybody put in the chat. Like, what's something that you could say in your feminine inspirational leadership that might move him to speed things up or to do some work on himself or to, whatever it might be that you feel is needed in that relationship. Let's throw out some ideas.
Well, look, because I could say to him, it would be really nice to go out for dinner because our first date was a walk in a nice place, and our second date was a brunch. Or so I mean, I can suggest that, like, he has in mind that we go for a bike ride, but he doesn't ask me when are you free and secure something.
Yeah. So your words, your language right there were, it would be really nice to go to dinner, which is a nice statement. It's pleasant. I'm uninspired by it.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really nice for me to go to dinner by myself. But like, if you were actually excited to go to dinner with him, or you couldn't wait to go to dinner with him, like, I'm speaking to everybody here, not just Ronnie. If I said something to you like, I cannot wait until we get together again. I have been thinking about you constantly. Versus, it would be really nice to go to dinner.
Or I would like to go to dinner.
Well, she didn't
Yeah.
even say that.
Oh, I
But
thought
yeah,
you did.
that's that's like the in between. Like, I would really like to go to dinner. I
I
would really like
pick
to go
A.
to a restaurant.
Go with A.
Can you guys feel a difference there?
Absolutely.
But
Like,
also, like, I'm wondering, is it my place to inspire him so early on if I could still feel that he's wounded? Should I be inspiring him or should I let him step up? Because if I keep on having to backlead him as a woman with inspiration, I still have a guarded man whose heart is guarded. So I don't know. Is that a pathway that I should be taking?
here's what I'm going to say to all of you women. The greatest acts in the history of this world were done because women inspired men to do them. And so for you to not step into your femininity and to not inspire him, I'm not saying that you need to inspire him to be your man. I'm not saying that you need to take this relationship any further. But for you not to inspire him to move forward, to heal, to do something with his life, I think you're robbing the whole planet. I think that you may not understand the power that you carry, that you wield when you can go into your feminine and actually inspire a man to step up. Like, I'll just speak again. I've never met this guy. I'm taking you at your word that he's got these issues. I'm going to speak to everybody. I had so much fun on our first 2 dates. I really like so many things about you. And I feel like you have some fear around losing a future partner because you lost your mom and you lost your wife. And I would love to have a relationship with you. And I'm not sure that you've done the work to let go of that grieving and to heal so that we could actually have a relationship. I would love to see what it would look like if you're willing to do something like that. You're not committed to going on another date with him, but you've shown him that you see something that he could grow into. And whether he takes that inspiration or not, that's not really your problem. It actually will tell you a lot how he responds to you. Whether he's like, yeah, I am willing to make you feel good. I'm willing to go do this work on myself. I'm willing to step up. Most men are immature until they're inspired. There are a few handfuls that will actually go out and do the work on their own, usually to try and solve something with their dad or something like that. But most men want a challenge. They want somebody to inspire them to greatness. And women are uniquely gifted at that if they're in touch with that, if they're willing to take that risk. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think I don't personally, I don't know if I grasping the power that I would have to inspire. But I mean, from learning and through, being coached and learning from you also and hearing the perspective, like, yeah, it's from little things like the stories of making the bed to taking, the trash out to bigger things like stepping into your purpose. There's so much that we can inspire our partners or, even men that we're potentially dating to
Yeah.
step up.
There's so much power in the tongue, right? There's the
Mhm.
power of giving life and the power of taking away. And sometimes we just go through life ignoring that, thinking that they're just words, or maybe we're just using words. But we literally have within us, in our breath, in our mouths, in our tongue, the ability to inspire greatness. Not just to inspire it, but to inspire to greatness. We have the ability to speak life into somebody's life. Like I don't take this time lightly, and I appreciate what Dale said earlier, but like I'm not here just to have a pleasant conversation that we're all like, hey, this was great. Like I want you guys hearing my voice to see that you have a great relationship inside of you and in front of you. And I want you to step into that. I want you to experience the fullness of what we have. I don't just want you to go have a ho hum 5, 6 out of 10 relationship, maybe that you get divorced in 11 years. Like, I don't want that. I want you to have something incredible that all of your friends talk about you. Like, oh my gosh, Ronit and her husband, they are so cute and they are so in love. And every time we're with them, I want that type of relationship. I want you guys to grasp something. There is an amazing gift when a man and a woman come together and they inspire each other. And so I'm inviting you to step into the fullness of your femininity now, even if he doesn't deserve it, because you get to practice it. You get to touch it. You get to embody it now. And when you meet the right man who sees you in that, and he doesn't think that, oh, I can't live without her. He knows he can live without her. He's done it for years. He's lived without you for years, but he knows he doesn't want to live without you. And that's a very different energy when he can't imagine not having you at his side, because the way you inspire him, the way you light him up, the way you cheerlead him, and the way that he supports you, and the way he comes home and celebrates your wins and supports you on the hard days, like that is a great relationship. And you're all capable of it. But it takes stepping into that greatness. It takes stepping into that full femininity. And sometimes there's some things that are getting in the way. Sometimes we have some baggage. Sometimes we have old belief systems, old habits, old patterns that are getting in the way. And so right now I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to your heart, but we're giving you information for your head. And sometimes there's a disconnect. How do we get that information that we're giving here to embody it and create it? It's where we're living it every day. So Ronit, I hope that helps. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's with him or not, without him, I want you to know that your words and your ability to get in touch with what really would make you feel good, what would really light you up, if you can communicate that, that's going to be a gift to him either way, whether he receives it or he doesn't. Somebody spoke the truth and somebody put a vision in front of him that's better than where he's currently at.
So good.
It's so beautiful, Angus. I really think that you just said some beautiful, beautiful words, and they came from your heart, and they were well received.
Thanks.
I do. I have been deep like that with him. I think that for a man who's afraid of cancer, I couldn't think of a better woman to challenge his fears than me, because you know me and you know how I'm so careful with my diet and all those things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the right fine line between trying to inspire him and not trying to fix him,
Yep.
and let him
I love that.
pursue me. I want him to pursue me, and I don't want to lead him down the road, because I recognize that the most important thing for me is to be cherished and adored and to have a man really, really love me. And so if I have a man who's got, barbed wires around his heart, that's gonna conflict with my number one desire, which is to have all of his heart. So I'm taking it slowly. I'll let him have it at his pace,
Yeah.
and keep on dating and seeing.
Yeah.
Stay-
I love that. And if he hasn't done anything that, you know pretty much all of our systems as far as that goes. If he hasn't done anything to violate your deal breakers, and he's got most of the things that you must have, then you should keep saying yes when he asks, and reciprocate. And I would say it's a balancing game of reciprocating and not overgiving, and inspiring. But you're inspiring doesn't mean you're overgiving. You're just painting a vision of a future that you could potentially see him stepping into. You don't actually, you're not fixing him. You're not doing anything. You're just saying, I could see this going here if you were to do these things. And so then it's up to him. You get to decide, is he the type of man that you could love and could trust and could follow and could open? And a lot of times for men, and this is one challenge I will give you directly, Ronit, and others can listen to this. Most men, okay, we're getting really deep here. So Carl Jung, one of the most famous psychoanalysts, talks about the animus and the anima. We don't need to get into all the weeds, but basically men are strong on the outside and soft on the inside. Women are typically less strong on the outside and stronger on the inside. So most men, you will never see the soft side of them because they're protecting it. It's vulnerable. And when a woman like criticizes him, so like if you were to say something like, you've got all this barbed wire around you, like he probably will never open up to you again. I'm not saying you did say that to him, but like if you can't handle gently and safely for him to open up what might be vulnerable for him to talk about, that his mom passed away and that his wife passed away and that he may not have fully dealt with that yet. If you can't be the safe place for him to talk about it, he might not open up to anybody else. That doesn't mean it's your responsibility. But if you want to create that emotional safety, you get to create that opportunity for him to share whatever it is. And it will always, for a man, almost always for a man, be something that seems like that's nothing to talk about. It's a test run. He's seeing, can you handle my vulnerability? And how you handle it will determine if I show you the next layer deeper.
I like that. Thank you. That's
There's,
very helpful. Yeah.
there's an amazing video. I think it's on YouTube. I saw it on Instagram and Facebook of a man sitting outside his house holding a spool of wire. And if you can find the Eagles fan holding the spool of wire, I would highly recommend that you watch that video, because he's sharing something with his wife and she does not get it. And he will probably never share anything with her again.
What's it called?
I don't know what it's called, but it's just if you do a search for Eagles fan with a spool of wire, this man is struggling with something. He's dealing with something. And his wife is like, so? And she doesn't get it. And I bet you he never talks to her about anything deep again.
It's funny because we can have a dating coach that, like in our circle of coaching, we can have a dating coach that says to us, that says to a woman, you got to watch that there's not barbed wire around your heart. Like a lot of women can have that too. It's very common. So we can have language that's said to us that might help us. And yet this language might be too harsh or in the face to repeat to a man.
Yeah.
Like they might need a different language than what we're used to as we're doing our work and we're doing our healing, and we want to hear what we need to hear.
Yeah.
We're more receptive, but they might need more gentleness and not be able to hear the same language that we consider helpful or in every day for us.
100%. And there's a couple things to that. I'll try to be brief, and you haven't said anything. So if you want to chime in with anything, please do. You have to remember that throughout history, most of the time that men were face to face, it was regarding conflict. It was an interrogation. It was a interview. It was a critique. It was a conflict. It was a negotiation. They were pitted against each other. And to show any amount of weakness exposed, or any amount of vulnerability exposed to weakness that their opponent could exploit. Women, on the other hand, oftentimes, and I'm not talking about recent history, I'm talking about our old brain, would sit around in the camp and weave or grind corn and make eye contact and talk about stuff constantly. And so for a woman to go sit at brunch and, sit across the table and lean in and express all the feelings, that feels completely normal. Men don't typically do that. The man that is on the man's side is beside him, shoulder to shoulder. They're going to war together. They're lined up on the offensive line to play football together. They're working on the car together. They're building a house or a wall together. They're fixing something together. They're fishing. They're sitting in a bar watching a game together. That's when a man will express some of the most heavy things when he doesn't have to make eye contact. And talking, that same client I was just telling you about that I just got off the phone call with earlier today, she's like, that makes so much sense. I noticed that sometimes when we're talking, he has to look away. He does have to look away because looking you in the eyes is too vulnerable for him to share what he's about to share, because it exposes a weakness that it has not been safe for man to expose up until now. Because if a man doesn't have it all together, he's not going to be accepted. He's going to be rejected. He's going to be made fun of. So he has to act like he has it all together. He has to protect any weakness that he has inside, because up until now, it hasn't been safe. If you want to create that emotional safety with an emotionally mature man who's available to get in touch with his emotions, you get to create it. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by sitting side by side, go take a walk, sit on a bench and look at the lake, sit on the same side of him at a table, and he might open up to you a little bit easier than if you're looking at him directly in the eyes. So,
I
thoughts?
so appreciate you saying that, because I've heard you speak of that before. And I really, really, and one of my first conversations with you, Angus, you shared that. And I so appreciate you retelling that,
Yeah.
because I really think that's really makes so much sense. And yeah, boy, these guys, feel for them.
Well, I mean, we
And
all have challenges, right? I don't like it when people say like, oh, men have it easy or women have it easy. We all have challenges. We really
Absolutely.
do. And the more that we can begin to try to empathize with each other and meet each other in the middle, that's where real opportunity comes from.
Absolutely. And also to be just the visual of that men are strong on the outside and soft on the inside. Like, it's so confusing because they look so strong, and it's hard to see.
Yeah. And they won't even share with you, right? Like the soft part, they don't share with you. And that's why more men commit suicide than women, because they would rather die than actually talk about or share how worthless they feel or how things aren't going well, or how one of my favorite stories is horrifying, but Alan Ritchson, if I'm saying that right, if you guys know the show Reacher, like that man on that show is about as close to like epitome of man as any man I know of. Like he's probably 6'4", 6'5", probably like 270, beautiful head of hair, great complexion, square jaw. Like
He's not bad to look at.
he's not bad to look at. Like I got a little man envy over there. Like, dang, how did you get all those genes and the work ethic to go with it? Like he's a good looking guy. Did you know that he was suicidal 3 or 4 years ago?
Oh, wow.
It is not hard for a man who looks like he has it all together, has all the tools, to think that the world would be better off without him. But does he share that? Does he ask for hope? No. Or help? No, he thinks that he has to handle it on his own because it's never been safe for him to share it with anybody before. So just remember that. There's also a great story. I'm like going all over the place, but there's a lady named Nora something, but she goes by Noah, or she went by Noah. She wanted to see how much easier it was to be a man than a woman. And so she changed her identity for like 6 months. And she changed her name from Nora to Noah, and she changed her looks, and she went online dating and tried to get dates. And she was suicidal by the end of the 6 months. She's like, women are so much worse than men. And so read her story. This is not me telling you that. That's her story. She has whole articles, maybe even books written about her, but like it's an interesting study that she did on that. So anyways,
And what's her name?
it's It's Nora, Norah, I believe. And then she went by Noah. And I can't remember her last name, but if you do a search for woman who pretended to be a man online dating, I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
And that's, you think, on YouTube?
I don't know if it's on YouTube. There's probably somebody's probably interviewed her. I've just read the articles.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody did a write up in like, I think Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, some big newspaper had a big write up on her.
Well, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. So great stuff.
All the insights, like, it's so important to get these insights. Just like I'm sure you could have a talk with man about insights about women that they would be completely clueless about. We're kind of clueless about each other.
We are. Yeah. And when we can humble ourselves and say, oh, I might be clueless about you.
Yeah.
Teach me something or show me something, instead of like, oh, all men are the same. Well, whenever we go to judgment, it's not helpful. We can stay curious and humble, like we're going to have a better situation out of it. So I hope that this conversation was helpful. I do know, and I want to recognize and acknowledge that this was like, I tried to speak to your heart, but most of this is information that's going into your head. And a week from now, unless you're Dale and have a flashcard stuck in your bra, like you'll probably have forgotten 90% of it. And like, that's okay, because it's normal. That's how our brains work. We let go of most information unless it's really valuable and we use it all the time. So if you're one of those people who go, this is more important than I should probably retain more than 10%. We want to help you get this information from your head and your conscious mind down into like your being and your unconscious mind. Because once you know it at your core and you can begin embodying it, then you don't have to pull out the flashcards from the bra. You can just speak from your heart and it will actually land. So if you're
Part of that is sometimes what keeps us from actually accessing it is because we might have something at the subconscious level, whether we believe that we're not worthy of a good person, a good partner, a good man to be in our life, or we've been, we grew up a certain way where we just caught these beliefs. We've developed them to protect ourselves.
And in your masculine so long that like
that's what
it
we're
feels
used to.
foreign to be in your feminine. Like you don't even know what it feels like.
Yeah.
All these things are buried at the unconscious. All the problems are not in the head. They're down somewhere deeper than that. So learning this information is fabulous. And I encourage you. I love that you came, and I love that you took notes, and I love that most of you found that valuable. And if we can't get it from the head down into the heart, down into the unconscious, then most likely it's going to be wasted. So with that being said, if you would like help getting it from the head down into the unconscious mind, we'd love to jump on a call with you. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll put a link on here. If you're not a current client or a client of ours, we would love to, because you have your own calls with us, but we would love to offer you a love breakthrough call. And on this call, we're going to support you in identifying what might be some of these blocks, what might
what's
be
the road?
in the way of you actually finding loves, and providing you a customized roadmap for how we can remove those blocks and how we can
And do the
support you.
unconscious work.
Yeah.
Make this head knowledge into the heart knowledge. So
Yep.
Awesome. So we're going to put that link in the chat. If you that sounds good, if this stuff is resonating with you, if you know you want to move this stuff from head knowledge into the heart and into the unconscious mind, love to jump on a call with you and let you know what that would look like. Otherwise, I don't see any more. I do like Maria's comment there. This reminds me of a book. I miss him, but I'm aiming better. That's hilarious. I like that. Yeah. What does it say? Lean into your feminine. Go shopping, get your nails done, take a walk in nature. Okay. So I think that last part is a question. I love that. I'll be as brief as I can, but we're going to talk more about femininity next week. To me, femininity has almost nothing to do with your nails done, going shopping, how you look. It is all about energy, and we can talk about that more next week in practical ways. I know that Meredith had made a comment asking, like, what does it look like? How do I practically show up in my feminine? So,
Or he says, thank goodness.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah. So we'll talk about that more next week, because I was married to a woman who, she looked kind of like a Stepford wife. Like, always had the dress on, always had the heels on, always had the nails done, Botox in the forehead, hair was always curled, makeup, all that kind of stuff. And she almost never was in her feminine. And I now that I'm aware of this stuff and look back, I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. The way that she grew up and the broken home that she was from and the pressure that her father's business failings put on her. Like, she was a driven woman. She was amazing, but she could almost never let go of that masculine energy and actually shift into the feminine. So it has nothing to do with how you're looking and dressing and doing the nails. Doesn't mean that doing some of those things can't be in your feminine, because they can. And we can talk about that.
Okay. Awesome.
Wrap ups. I'd love to hear, before we get off, if you guys want to either come off mute and just put it into one sentence, or if you want to type it in the chat, what's your biggest takeaway from the call? What landed for you? What are you going to try and take and remember from this call?
What were your ahas or even reminders?
Yeah, or what do we need to know? We're still learning too. So
Go for
ahead,
it,
Dale.
Dale.
Well, so I'm taking away the power of inspiration and inspiring words, and that's different from caretaking or anything like that. I really resonated with that whole concept of feminine leadership, inspiration.
Beautiful. Thanks, Dale.
But
Ronit says, practice inspiring from the feminine. Beautiful. We wish you luck in that, Ronit. And if you need help, you know how to message me. So Maria says, yeah, thanks so much. Biggest takeaway, come back next Tuesday. Like it.
nice. And then Lori says, great reminders about feminine energy. I studied Alison Armstrong's work, and this is very similar.
Yeah, beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah, we love her work too. So awesome. Susie just chimed in. She said, the way you can say what you'd like, love, instead of taking the more masculine way. Yeah, we're not telling you. And this is the big thing. Most people read our post and thought, oh, you're telling us that we have to be more feminine. We're not. You can be whoever you want to be and do it the way that you want to do it. If it's not working though, doesn't it make sense to at least look at another option and at least try something else? Because I know for me, in my masculine, if I'm trying something and doing something over and over and over, and it's not giving me the results that I want, it would be foolish not to at least look at another alternative. And I think when you try this stuff, you'll be pleasantly surprised how men respond, and you'll like how that feels. And then it's not as hard when you realize, oh, this actually was easier and I like how it feels. Maybe I could learn something and maybe it works.
Yeah.
If not, throw it away.
Yeah, we've had a couple clients recently, but a couple clients who have been out of the dating scene for years and years, one even up to 20 years. And now she's in a relationship, and it's like, what was different, right? We did an interview with her for a testimonial, and she was like, this would have never happened on my own doing what I was doing. Knowing this, without knowing new things, without trying new things, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And so I think that's exciting, is that when we try something new because things haven't been working,
And it doesn't have to be hard.
quick. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even that it's hard at all. Sometimes it's actually easier than what you've been doing.
Yep.
So yeah. It's interesting. Go ahead, Dale. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Sharon also raised her hand.
I wanted to revisit the thing about, I agree with you. It just because you dress up in a dress and have your nails done doesn't mean you're in your feminine energy.
Right.
But on the same sense, I find that if I take a time to pick out a dress or to do my nails, that I put myself into receiving.
Mhm.
So I think it's done, if it's done in the right way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
No, I want to, because I don't want to, I want to keep that straight in my head, because
Yeah.
those are some of the things that I do to actually help me
Yeah.
get into my feminine energy, because then I'm giving to myself and receiving.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I get in a pretty dress, then I'm receiving compliments.
Yeah.
And
Love
so
it.
I just wanted to put a different slant on that. But
I love
I
that.
totally get what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Because I've put lipstick on the pig myself, and it's like, no, sweetheart, you are leading with masculine energy here. That's what color lipstick you got on.
Yeah. I love it. Well,
Reminder
you've
for
heard
all
us,
things.
you've heard us talk about the energetic closet, right? Like going into the closet and putting on the clothes.
Yeah.
It's the cool thing is that's what you're doing. You're doing it literally, and you don't have to. Like, you could just do it energetically, go into your closet in your imagination, put it on. We'll talk about that probably next week. But I know, Ronit, we talked back when we were doing some coaching with you. I think we talked about like putting a bracelet on or a ring on that was pink. And that just being a trigger that every time you looked at it, oh, I need to make sure I'm going back into my feminine. And so like having something that supplements that and brings it to your awareness. I love that, Dale. That's a great share. Sharon.
Yeah. um, the whole idea of inspiring, I'd actually like to see examples of that. That it's like, how do you do that? Like, I feel like I really need to learn how to do that because I feel like I come across, like, I don't, maybe the word is masculine, but I don't know if that's the right word, but, that's really interesting. I just want to ask you too, like with that inspiring, would that work with people that have addictions, like say alcohol or drug use?
That's a great question. So I'll say we can give more examples next week because we're going to focus on the feminine next week. Um, but addictions are their own thing. And so addictions, you absolutely get to have boundaries and you get to clarify what your boundaries are. And that's probably the number one thing with addictions because let's just say it this way, takers don't have boundaries. And oftentimes addicts are takers. And so if you're giving too much, there's no such thing to a taker. And so they'll just keep taking and taking and taking and taking advantage of you. I would say, just generally speaking, it never hurts to be inspiring. Whether it works or it doesn't work, whether it lands or doesn't land, like the world needs you to be in that inspirational place. It doesn't need more judges. It doesn't need more critics. It doesn't need more harsh criticism or condescension or contempt.
Well, I'm not doing any of that, but I was just involved with a guy that retired as a nurse and got into drinking and using marijuana. And I knew that was a red flag for me. So I knew I didn't want to get involved with him and told him, let's keep looking. He found another woman. And I'm heartbroken, even though I've been telling him, yeah, go ahead, go with her. I'm not fighting for him because of this addiction stuff. But I just want to ask you, like, I'm trying to avoid talking to him too much. He wanted to go out shopping with me today. I'm trying to avoid seeing him. Is that, I'm thinking for that be the less painful thing for me. Do you guys have an opinion on that? When you break up with somebody, is it better to not see them? He wants a friendship with me.
Yeah. The fact that you have some emotional energy tied to that, whether you want to or not, it's real. It's real. And so to me, you can do with this information whatever you want. And I would love your opinion on this as well. But to me, the longer that you let him stick around, like the longer that emotional charge is probably going to be there. And more importantly, he is filling an energetic place in your life and in your heart that another man won't fill while he's there. That's my opinion. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, agree. I mean, our words reveal a lot, right? And so when you said I'm heartbroken, like that's describing where you're at right now. And so it's almost like you have a wound and you're pouring salt on it continuously, right? By
Picking the scabs.
yeah, and not allowing it to heal, giving it the space and the time. So that's what I would say is if your words are revealing this is what you're experiencing, then maybe let it.
Yeah. That's a great point. I hit on earlier the power of words. And so I'll say this here. Most of us are unconscious to what we're saying about ourselves. And we are creating our future, whether we know it or not, with our words. Those words are based on our thoughts. Sometimes we don't even know what our thoughts are until they spill out of our mouth and until somebody points them out to us. So staying in an environment, a culture, a community, or having a coach who can catch you and say, hey, are you really heartbroken or are you just grieving? Because grieving is typically temporary, right? Heartbreak can last a lifetime. And so just the power of your words, whatever you fill in after the word am. So like I am whatever it is, in this case, heartbroken, you're speaking your future. More than the present, you're speaking your future.
Sort of change that to grieving.
Change it to something like.
Thank you for catching that, Mayan.
Yeah. And so that's a great catch. And that's the importance of community and having somebody who's like, hey, are you sure you mean that? Because the things that we say create those futures. And so I would encourage you to play with that in your mind of like, what could you say that may have been true? Here's another powerful word, up until now,
Yes.
that you don't want to be true. So he really hurt my heart. And I'm recovering. I'm healthy. I'm going to be fine. Those are three very different energy words. You can acknowledge that there was some pain, there was some emotion, and you're going to be something else future, right? Instead of just continuing to declare heartbreak over yourself. So Susie said, the way you can say what you'd like. I think we already said that, but yes. Yeah. What I like, don't like, want, don't want, feels good, doesn't feel good. Those are powerful ways to speak from the inspirational. Okay. I
Did
think
Margaret say anything? I have a pet peeve when people don't get a chance to talk. Did Margaret?
No, I was just gonna say, did you say you were gonna put the link in or something?
Oh yeah, we can put it in again. There you go. There's a link in the chat right now. And if you click that, that will give you access to our calendar, and you can book what we call a love breakthrough call. And that's where we talk about your situation and a roadmap to get you to the relationship of your dreams.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just take a picture of
Appreciate
it.
you, Margaret. And it is Margaret, right?
Yeah,
Yes, I got it. Okay. I won't mess it up again. Please forgive me.
yeah, it just hasn't got an R in it. That's all.
Yes. Okay. Awesome, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming into our lounge, our home. We loved having you, and we will talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good words of wisdom.